I mean, I think there was always this inner conflict in me between wanting to kind of escape myself, you know, through drugs, through alcohol, through parties, and this like deep, deep desire to be a writer and to make something of my potential. And I remember feeling like, oh, I wish I could just separate my nights from my days. Like, I still want to be able to wake up and go to the library and write, but I also want to have this way of just getting out of my head and getting out of my feelings, because I felt so much and it was so almost unbearable to experience that. And so, you know, I made a change when I was 26. I got sober. I was in the middle of writing my first book. I got help. I found community. I became honest. And I have to say, like, when I write about it and when I talk about it, what I feel is that I feel so free. I feel complete freedom from any sense of failure, which I felt for a long time. And my teacher, Martin Amos, who's one of my favorite writers, used to say that fiction is freedom, marvelous and intimidating freedom. And I think that if I want to be really free in my work, I have to be free in my life. Mm-hmm. And so I try to make decisions that allow me to be as open about who I am as possible. And I really hope that it helps someone else feel that they're able to be open about who they are. You know, you don't have to do it in front of 500 people. That's not necessary. But
it can be one way.
Yes, but to be vulnerable and open with someone and to ask for help if you need it in whatever that like realm of life that might be.
Mm-hmm. So one thing is proved, to get out of this like deep talk here a little. Books can make people try new things as well. I saw you boxing.
Yes.
Like a pro.
I try.
As research.
Yes.
Tell us more.
So I've always loved boxing. I like watching boxing. And when I started writing this book, I wanted to write about sisters that are very different to each other and have very different interests and careers and skill sets. And again, I hadn't seen a ton in, you know, literary fiction in which women are athletes and physical and sporty. So I decided I wanted to write Bonnie, the middle sister, as a professional boxer. And in order to do that, I found a boxing coach nearby me in LA. I basically knocked on his door.
Hello, I'm an author. I want to box.
And asked him, I was like, I want you to train me like a fighter. And he was like, that's going to be hard. But we trained 3 days a week for a year, mostly on the beach because it was the pandemic. So we were outside. I had, you know, the golden boxing gloves. I love to like accessorize and pick out a cute color, a head guard, mouth guard, cup, everything. And we, you know, we started with like the smallest things, which is really defense, like trying not to get hit, and then worked all the way up to fully sparring. And it was amazing. Probably the thing I'm most proud of from this book is that I got a black eye while writing it, which I think is really
unique.
Tough.
Yeah,
that's a great story for critics to tell
exactly.
them, you know, I can box very well.
Exactly. Be careful.
Be careful. Yeah. So for Bonnie's part of the story, you took boxing lessons. What was necessary to fill the other Blues sisters with their life? What did you learn?
The youngest sister, Lucky, is a professional model and living in Paris. And I had worked in the fashion industry for many years. I was a fashion copywriter. So I was somewhat familiar kind of with the fashion scene ambiently. But in order to write her, I interviewed, I think probably between 5 and 10 professional models, mostly about the earliest years of their career, trying to understand what that was like to become professional so young and to be essentially objectified so young, and what the kind of, what was glamorous about it, what was exciting about it, what was scary about it. I'm always interested in exploring the darkness and the light and kind of balancing the two, like how did this career give her opportunities? How did this career perhaps limit her growth in other ways? So that was really fascinating. And then Avery, the elder sister, is a lawyer. And actually, my elder sister is a lawyer, but I didn't talk to her about it, weirdly.
What?
Because I thought she would think it was too much based on her, which it's definitely not. So I ended up talking to someone else. But Avery, I just instinctively knew. I felt like I knew her so well. She required less kind of technical research. And for her, it was more because she's the eldest daughter. I didn't yet know that there is a phrase, eldest daughter syndrome, which is that you take care of everyone around you and basically you make the world work and we all owe you everything. Like the reason the world functions is because of eldest daughters, it turns out. But I had lots of conversations. I'm the baby of my family. So I had lots of conversations with friends who are the eldest children, just trying to understand what that felt like, what that role in the family is like, what you gain from being that role, and what you potentially lose by having to be so responsible for everyone from such a young age.